Chris, John, congratulations. You guys have made it into the third round of this competition. Now we're sending you back to your home forges to recreate this iconic weapon from American history. General Patton's saber. Good luck. We'll see you in 4 days.
Come on, come on. Today, I'm gonna build the actual blade part of the saber. I'm making a ladder pattern Damascus billet. I'm stacking 1085 and 15 in 20. So ladder pattern Damascus, it's a simple pattern. I'm gonna weld it, put some layers into it, and then cut it with the chop saw and then draw it out. This is a large blade, and there can be a lot of things that go wrong with this much forging. So I'm not comfortable putting all my eggs just in that one billet. So my plan is to make a 5160 billet. So I have insurance that I'll have a good blade for this build. I got lots of eggs. I got tons of eggs, and you guys need some eggs. Anybody want eggs?
Today, I hope to get the blade quenched, so I need to get this fire going. I've picked up a little bit of a curve in this thing. I do notice that it's not an exact even heat up in the fire. There's more heat towards either end than in the middle. I don't want to waste too much more time chasing it out. There's always a chance that a lot of it will come back out once I dip it in the quench. I believe my blade has gotten hot enough. I am ready to quench. While my blade was heating up, it wasn't an exact even heat up in the fire, so I do still have a fairly significant S-curve warp to it. So I quickly throw it between a couple of big chunks of wood to see if I can address the warp. If this doesn't work, I'm screwed. Okay. I've got a very, very slight warble right towards the end, but I'm positive I can take it out with the grinder, so we might be in good shape. Feel pretty good about that. I think I'm getting very slightly soft, close to the hilt. Rather than go through the quench process again, I think I'm just gonna go with it, keep my fingers crossed, and pray to the gods.
This morning, I'll figure out which blade is going to be worthy of going forward. I really want the Damascus to be my sword. So I start grinding on it, and right away, I start seeing some delaminations in this edge here. They want to fall apart. I'm gonna scrap the Damascus, save it for the back strap, and move on to the 5160 and make that my blade. I'm not gonna take a risk with $10,000 on the line. I go to the forge, get it hot, and I go in the quench tank. When I pull this knife out of the oil, I have a nice straight sword.
It's the morning of day 4. I think I've got myself set up really well for a final day of construction and refinement. Once I have my wood block shaped for my handle, I start figuring out how I'm going to try to make this back strap. Got this old, kind of cool looking spoon of unknown metal. I think it's some sort of steel plated in some sort of other metal. But it looks cool, and I'm going to beat and bash and bend it until it fits around the back of my handle. All right, I get it glued up to the rest of the sword. Now, once my epoxy sets, it's gonna be time to move on to sharpening. So this blade is sharp as a razor, and it's ready for testing.
It will cut.
Today, I gotta put everything together, put the final edge on the sword, and test it. So it's time to get the guard started. So we'll go up to the plasma cutter, and we cut out a piece of sheet metal that's gonna become our guard. I'm a horseshoer. We have horses. Put a horse on it. Horse head for the cavalry sword. This is my version of the cowboy's cavalry sword. Say that twice. I'm gonna acid etch the guard black, and I'm gonna put some enamel over the top just to preserve it. And then line the inside of the guard with pig leather. So I'll make sure it's nice and comfy for their hands. I finish assembling the sword just with enough daylight to be able to test it. This is whiskey. Hey, it worked. I'm finished building this crazy sword, and why not go out with a bang? America!
Welcome to the kill test. Your sabers look deadly. To find it out, I will take your weapon, deliver some slashes and thrusts on this ballistic stump. John, you're up first. You ready for this?
Yeah. Cut its heart out. It's just not right.
All right, John, first up, let's talk about the handle construction. It's a little bit on the big side, but I'm able to hold on to it. Now, your edge. It's very sharp. And it is a pleasure to wield because aside from looking beautiful, it will kill.
Thank you very much.
All right, Chris, your turn. Are you ready, sir?
Yes, sir, I sure am.
All right, Chris, let's talk about your saber here. First up, what I love about it, it's got a sharp edge. Every swing I do cuts. The one thing here is that you did pick up a little bit of a bend right here at this junction. It's warped a little bit. But it pierces and cuts, and most importantly, it will kill.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Bladesmiths, for a strength test, I'm going to take your sabers and I'm going to beat them and stab them into these field obstacles. Now, I'm not really concerned about what your swords do to our obstacles. I want to see the opposite, what they do to your swords. John, you're up first. You ready to go? Ready to go. Nice job, John. I like the blade. The sword itself overall is on the heavy side. The handle is a lot there, a lot of extra weight. It does help counterbalance quite a bit, though. Still got a good edge on it. There's some pretty heavy strikes on there. And the blade bent but came back to true. It's all right, tight, and straight. Good job.
Thank you.
How you feeling, Chris?
Good as I can be, sir.
All right. That right here.
Oh.
No cuts, no blood.
Lucky day.
Chris, your blade has suffered a catastrophic failure in our strength test, and unfortunately, you cannot continue with testing, which means you cannot be the Forged Fire Champion. Please exit the forge. Come on forward, pal.
I did have a small issue when it got to my heat treat.
That's all right, man.
I didn't want to risk a second quench because I didn't want to make it overly brittle. I do have some regret about that decision at this point. Of course, I would have liked to be the Forged and Fire Champion, but I am really proud of myself as a weapons maker, and I plan on getting right back in my forge when I get home, and I'm gonna move forward as ever.
Well, John, General Patton was known for being a tough guy, and you made a tough and sharp sword that really honors his name. Congratulations, you are the Forged and Fire Champion, and that's a title that comes with a check for $10,000. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
How do you feel right now?
Oh, yeah!
All right, man, come on over and shake our hands. Good job, brother. It's a beautiful sword.
Yeah! I'm the new Forge and Fire champion.
You did a phenomenal job on that heat treat.
Thank you, sir. I'm proud of what I did, and it's been a fun deal. Hey, can I get a Forge and Fire belt buckle now? No belt buckle. Come on.
Mark, Scott, congratulations. You guys have made it to the third and final round of this competition. Now we're asking you to go back to your home forges and recreate this iconic weapon from history. The Dussage.
Oh. Yes.
Good luck, Bladesmiths. We'll see you in 4 days.
Good luck, buddy. Good, man.
Here we are, ready to kill it. I want to have this blade shaped and ready for heat treat. If I could heat treat on the end of day one, I'll be really good in line. Right now, I am gonna start trying to grind a little bit of taper in this blade and make sure that fuller sets in as deep as I can get it. Kind of thinned it out a little bit. I didn't want to grind too much before heat treat. That looks rad. I like that a lot. Once I got that thing rough to shape and got the bend in with my little whacking method, it was time to just heat treat it. All right, boys and girls. Yeah, she's nice and straight. Oh, yeah. It's a hard blade, so can't stress how happy I am actually inside right now.
It's day one. I'm back in Emporia, Kansas, and I'm making a Dussage. The plan for day one is to get the blade forged out, thermal cycled, and then hardened. There's a lot put into the handle work, so I'm wanting to get my forging done as quick as possible. I always like to forge thick, grind thin, and not have to worry about warps. One of the hardest parts is done, getting your tang done. Now just put a point on it, hammer the bevels in. At this point, I got the blade forged out. I get it down into the oil. Oh yeah, baby, that's a good sign right there. No warps, nice and straight. It's a huge relief. It's like when you have to poop and then you finally get to go. It's just one of the best feelings ever.
Beginning of day 3, I'm feeling spunky, ready to get going. Let's get to work. Today is gonna be making that clamshell guard. So I have chunks of lead that I use for casting. And so I'm gonna use that lead. I think it'll absorb that steel a little bit better. The first thing I do is make myself a die with rounded edges and a round nose. I'm just gonna smash into it. That's gonna turn out pretty nice. I was hitting it with a ball peen hammer and realized that I actually like the hammer look into this lead block a lot better, so I just ran with it. Dude, that thing's fitting awesome. End of day 3, got a lot more done than I anticipated, so things are cruising along pretty good.
Starting out on day 4, and the last part of the guard I have to make is the clamshell guard. So I just laid it out on a piece of sheet metal, cut it out, and just started working it from there. Once I get the lines put in the clamshell, I stick it in the forge, and I actually start curving it to the shape of my fist. Ooh, damn, that's hot. It's really important you get it snug enough to actually work properly and protect your fist, but also it's not so tight that it's just digging into your hand. Guard done. Final assembly, that's what I'm gonna be working on now. It is the end of day 4, and I'm feeling great, because I finished my sword, and it looks good.
Beginning of day 4, all I gotta do is make sure this thing's sharp. Let's slice some fruit up, and let's see this thing work. This thing is razor sharp. The sword feels great for me, so I'm hoping it's the same for somebody who knows how to use one. It tastes good, too.
All right, Bladesmiths, welcome to the kill test. To find out what kind of lethal damage your weapon will do, I'll take your weapon, deliver some slashes and thrusts on this pig carcass. Scott, you're up first. You ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do this.
I am super excited to see Doug chop up a pig with my blade. I run my mouth all the time like, I can do that, I can do that. So now is the time to see if I can really walk the walk, because I know I can talk the talk.
All right, Scott. First up, it is light. The balance really allows for velocity and recovery with this blade. And most importantly, it will kill. Yeah. All right, Mark, your turn. So you ready?
Heck yeah.
Let's do this.
I'm ready to see my sword destroy, cut, slice. I want to see the insides of that pig.
He's just hanging there like chewing gum.
All right, Mark, let's talk about your blade here. It's beautiful in its creation. The edge is sharp. I was quite amazed with the cuts. I was surprised that it cut that deeply. The one thing, though, is that that guard right there rubs on my knuckle. Not bad, but it does rub on the knuckle. Despite that, it will kill.
Yes. Whew.
All right, gentlemen, welcome to the strength test, the whiskey barrel chop.
Yeah.
Now, to test the strength and overall construction of your swords, I will be swinging into these whiskey barrels. So, Scott, you're up first. You ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
All right. First off, Scott, this thing is still a razor blade on its entire length, except for right there. You did take a bit of a roll there and a very small chip, but beautiful craftsmanship, super light, fast blade, and very strong. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Mark, you're up next. You ready for this?
Smash them.
Okay.
Here she goes.
All right, Mark, got an edge all the way across this thing.
Yes.
You didn't lose a bit. The only issue I have with this weapon at all, as Doug said, my knuckle rides right there on the inside of the guard. It's not chewing my hand up, but there is contact right there where I don't necessarily want it. It's a beautiful weapon. It's strong. Nicely done.
Thank you.
All right, Bladesmiths, this is the sharpest test, the 4-pillar slice. These pillars are wrapped in different materials: foam, leather, canvas, and silk. Scott, you're up first. Ready for this?
Yo, yeah.
All right, Scott, let's talk about your weapon here. It is light. Every cut, it cuts nicely. Overall, sir, it will cut.
Thank you.
All right, Mark, onto your shiny sword. You ready for this?
Slice and dice.
All right, Mark, let's talk about your blade here. That's a cutter right there. You can feel the weight and the power with your slashes with this. On the leather, it did cut. It's just because the thicker kind of blade that you have here did cut all the way through. But overall, sir, it'll cut.
Nice.
Mark, Scott, both of you guys turned in incredibly competitive blades. However, the judges have completed their deliberation. They've made their final decision. Our new Forged in Fire champion is Scott. Congratulations. Mark, unfortunately, the judges have decided that your blade doesn't make the cut.
Mark, when we have a competition with two blades that perform as amazingly as your two blades do, it comes down to judging the craftsmanship of the blade. Your blade rubbed our knuckles. For that small reason, we're letting you go.
Understand?
Mark, please surrender your blade.
I'm bummed that I lost, but I'm very proud of myself and what I've accomplished.
That was a fine piece, man.
Going home, because my guard was rubbing the judge's knuckles just a slight bit, that little teeny tiny detail, you live and you learn.
Mark is an amazing bladesmith. If it wasn't for Mark telling me I can do this, I got this,
Good job, buddy.
I'd be the one going home.
I really hope I made my kids proud with this, and the world gets to see what Cool Beans Nias gets to do.
Well, Scott, in one of our tightest competitions to date, you've become the Forged in Fire champion, and that's a title that comes with a check for $10,000. Good job.
Thank you, thank you. Ah, I won, baby, yes! This ranks up there with getting married, having children. Oh, yeah, I'm a Forged in Fire champion too, by the way. What's next for me? Get my 10 grand in one so I can roll around in it. You know, normal stuff, you know, what normal champions do.
Dave, Gabe, congratulations. You've made it into the final round of this competition. Now we're sending you back to your home forge to recreate an iconic weapon from history. The Yatagan. Good luck, Bladesmiths. We'll see you in 5 days.
Good luck. I've been assigned to make a Yatagan. I don't know how to spell Yatagan, but here I am making one. I've never made a blade this long, and I've never made one that requires such an ornate handle. So I'm nervous. This is gonna have to chop through a pig, a thigh bone, maybe try to cut through Will's biceps, I don't know. I'm gonna make it to cut. I think I've got the curve right. I think I'm sitting pretty. Gabe, my competitor, is a very competent smith, so hopefully I'll have a blade that will stand up and equal or surpass his.
It's very important to get the rough shape today. If I do not get the rough shape knocked out today, then that'll throw the rest of the 4 days way behind. I don't have a power hammer or a forging press, so I have a lot of work ahead. This is my power hammer right here. I think I'm the underdog. Dave's got the upper hand. He's been doing it for a lot longer. It's his to lose, I think, and I hope I'm gonna come in there and sneak and take it from you. I really like the shape. Dave, you're going down, buddy.
Today, the plan is to make my mokame billet for the bolsters and the ornamentation that goes on the side of the blade. Mokame technique in Japanese means wood grain metal. It's laminated nickel, silver, and copper, and I'm squeezing them together under high heat, and they should bind to create an interesting pattern in the steel. All right, that's for later. It's quite time-consuming, but I think the end product will be worth it, assuming it takes. It's hot. Now I see if I've got a viable billet. Yes. Not molten, also a good sign. This better be worth it.
One thing I'm concentrating on the most today is making sure everything is symmetrical and getting ready for heat treat. Feeling a little nervous, have some things out of whack and it'll pull. That's one way you can cause warps. But I'm praying and hoping that's not an issue. She has developed. I have a nice warp. I don't have time to make another blade. I have to fix this warp, or I have no shot at winning. I'm gonna clamp the blade in a position so that the warp is overcorrected, and hopefully it'll fix itself in the temper. Otherwise, I have no idea what I'm gonna do.
The mokame came out great. It was worth it. And yesterday I quenched the blade and it came out straight and hard. Today I'll start working on the ebony handle. So that to that. I chose ebony because it's really pretty wood. The material's a little brittle, but I think it should be just fine. I'm not really sure if I got this thing fitted properly. I'm gonna hope for the best right now. Success. I would like the test to be on a banana, a nice soft banana. But I suspect it's going to be a giraffe or a fire hydrant or a cuckoo clock. I don't know what they're going to come up with. I hope it does well.
I fixed the warp as best as I possibly could. Goal for today is to be dialed in on the handle. I'm going with this marble wood. It's already square. It's got some width so that I can sculpt in the ears. We are all together. This sword I have dubbed Dumbo because it looks like an elephant. Everything's come together to something I'm proud of. Let's go whack something, shall we? Pretty clean cut. Call that a day.
Bladesmiths, to see what kind of lethal damage your weapon will do, I'll take your Yatagan and deliver slashes and thrusts on this ballistics dummy. Dave, you're first. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's do this.
I'm so nervous right now, and I'm just hoping my blade will perform well.
It's got bowels dropping out everywhere.
Let's talk about your weapon, Dave. It follows the feel of a Yatagan that's supposed to be light and deadly. The edge you have here is sharp, where it's curved in to lacerate. Your Yatagan will kill.
Thank you very much.
All right, Gabe, your turn. You ready?
Go nuts, man.
Let's do this.
Dave's blade performed seemingly really well. Guts falling out of the thing and blood everywhere, so a little nerve-wracking knowing they'll have to at least measure up to that.
All right, Gabe, it is so light, it really feels like it's not there. It's almost scary. When I thrust, it penetrates easily and slashes down. Overall, sir, your blade will kill.
Thank you.
I think we cut quite similarly. I would prefer to be ahead, but right now I feel like we're neck and neck.
All right, gentlemen, this is the strength test. To test the strength of your weapon, I'll be chopping into these bones 6 times. Dave, you're up first.
Hacking bone is a very difficult thing to do with a thin edge. I'm aghast knowing what's going to be coming.
All right, David, that's a tough test. Those are very thick bones, but what we've got going on here is a lot of chipping and distortion on your blade. We've also got a major crack in your handle that runs right up through the pins. All right, Gabe, your turn. You ready for this?
Go nuts.
Okay, Gabe, the convex edge you've got on here is pretty much the perfect edge for a test like this. Sharp and strong. I can feel just the smallest amount of a roll. Nicely done.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, next up, the sharpness test. For that, I'll give it to Doug.
I have edge damage, I have handle damage. It's disheartening, but it's not over yet.
Bladesmiths, to see if your blade is still sharp, I will take your weapon and slash through these silks. If your blade is still sharp, it should cut cleanly. If not, it may rip or tear, or worse, do nothing. Dave, you're up first. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's do this. All right, I love the balance of your blade. I like the way it curves in, but you can really feel the edges now. It's serrated. It hangs up with silk, but then on the last piece, just when it's nice and taut, you can lacerate and cut through it. Overall, your blade will still cut.
Thank you.
All right, Gabe, it's your turn. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this. All right, Gabe, your blade is so light, you're barely like cutting through air. I glided through this, lacerated, and of course in the finishing cuts here, cut easily through that silk. It cuts. Good job.
Thank you very much.
Bladesmiths, you both created remarkable finale weapons, but in this arena of competition, there can only be one Forged in Fire champion. And that champion is... Gabe, congratulations. You are the Forged in Fire champion. Dave, your weapon did not make the cut.
Dave, you brought us an outstanding weapon. That Yatagan is fantastic. But during the strength test, we lost structural integrity in the edge of your blade and in the handle with both scales fracturing. And those are things we obviously can't overlook, so that's why we're gonna let you go.
Sure.
Dave, please surrender your weapon.
It's exactly what I expected. It was very difficult testing, but I'm still the guy with the cracked edge and the broken handle. It's like going out with a beautiful blonde and finding out she has BO, and my blade has BO.
Gabe, congratulations. You are the Forged in Fire champion and will be receiving a check for $10,000. Good job. I've never seen anybody less stoked about getting 10 grand in my entire life. Why don't you please present that weapon to the judges?
Feels great to be the Forged in Fire champion, but I'll do my celebrating behind closed doors. I felt like I was the underdog, but underdogs win sometimes, I guess.
Jamie, Boyd, congratulations. You guys are in the final round of this Christmas-themed competition. Now, we're sending you back to your home forges to recreate this iconic weapon from history. The 1796 British Light Cavalry Saber. The 1796 English light cavalry sword was first used by British dragoons in the Napoleonic Wars. Unlike the subtly bowed French cavalry sabers of the era, the English version had a deep curve whose width increased as it reached the tip. Although this design weakened the blade's thrusting capabilities, it made every slash heavier and more brutal. Designed to inflict maximum damage during large melees on the battlefield, the saber had the ability to remove heads and limbs with a single stroke. The light cavalry sword is the weapon of the traditional wooden Christmas nutcracker and can be seen at the iconic soldier's side in the latest film adaptation of the Tchaikovsky Nutcracker Ballet, The Nutcracker in the Four Realms. You'll have 4 days at your home forges in which to complete this challenge. At the end of those 4 days, you'll return and present your swords to our panel of expert judges. After they thoroughly tested your Christmas sabers, they'll declare one of you the Forged in Fire champion and give you a pretty nice gift.
We're in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and this is Vulcan Studios. I'm going to start with one chunk of 5160 spring steel, and I want to sandwich 2 hunks of leaf spring to create a sand-my billet. The goal today is to just get the sand-my billet put together and then stretch out the billet as much as I possibly can, so tomorrow I can really bring it home. And there it is. I officially burned my billet into 2 pieces, and I am definitely falling behind on the clock. I have to make a whole new billet. I'm stretching the billet, and I see a little seam that's starting to come apart, so I put the flux back on, I put it back in the fire. And I see this big crack up here. I wouldn't say first day wasted, but it's looking pretty close.
I'm happy to be back home here in northern New Mexico for Christmas. My overall plan right now is I'm doing a Damascus blade out of W2 and 15N20. I start drawing out my billet. Everything on the power hammer is working excellent. So with the time I have left, I'm gonna get it cut, stacked, and I'll weld it up tomorrow.
I started my day off with 70% of yesterday's billet. 3rd time's a charm. Just decided to take more leaf spring, put it on the outside of the billet to add a little bit more beef, and keep going with the sand mine. I want to stick. For whatever reason, I cannot get the metals to fuse. My small failures are compounding into catastrophes. It's do or die time. I have to start over again. I go in my junk pile and I find a nice 2-inch bar of tool steel. I'm very disappointed. I have to give up on my original sand mine construction, but I have to make something that I can actually finish. Forged out as far as I could go. I don't have enough material. I'm about 5 to 6 inches short. If I go any thinner, it's gonna be way too thin for the final piece. It's a real way to end day 2.
Morning of day 2, I got my steel all blocked up, ready to go. I think I see cracks. My last one cracked all the way down to about the center of that billet. There's no recovering from that. They're just junk. I have to start plan B. We're starting over. We're gonna go mono still with the 5160. The plus side is my bar is drawn out a lot further than it was. I've lost half my day messing around with this Damascus, not to mention yesterday. We're just gonna go all out and move as fast as we can, see if we can catch up.
I was expecting to have a quenched sword blade by the end of yesterday. I don't even have the sword blade yet. My emergency plan is I'm taking 2 pieces of mild steel and making a sand my billet on the tang end of my carbon steel billet in order to be able to draw it out long enough. Man. I cannot believe this thing just cracked on me. I've used the technique before and it works, but I'm running out of time. I can't just mess around with something that's not gonna work. So I abandon it and I just grab a leaf spring. Pressure is really on, but I'm gonna finish. I'm either gonna turn something in that I can be proud of or I'm not showing up, and I'm showing up. I'm gonna finish the blade and I'm gonna go there and show them what I'm made of. Mama didn't raise no quitter.
Today, I need to finish up that handle and guard setup, and I need to concentrate a lot on the blade.
I mean, ultimately, this is a really light weapon. It needs to stay a light weapon.
I do have a lot to get done and a short amount of time. Luckily, I have my own personal Will Willis here. So at some point today, I will get a countdown and let me know when all of this is done.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shut down because this function is over.
Good job, buddy.
All right. What lies ahead are 3 tests. There will be a strength test, a sharpness test, and up first, Doug is going to carve the roast beast. Doug?
Bladesmiths, welcome to the kill test. Keeping with this Christmas theme, I'm gonna take your weapons and deliver some slashes and chops on this Christmas ham. Jamie, you're up first. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right, Jamie. The first thing that I noticed is the extreme weight. Automatically, I can feel the stress on my hand. It wants to fall forward. Now let's talk about the blade. This is a chopper that gets work done in 3 chops. Your weapon, sir, will kill.
Thank you.
All right, Boyd, were you naughty or nice? Because it's your turn.
I don't know. We'll see.
This proves that a light, sharp blade is just as deadly as a heavier sword. Overall, sir, your Nutcracker Saber will kill. Thanks.
All right, gentlemen, it's time for the strength test. Now, to test the strength of your sabers, I will be chopping into this ice block. Jamie, you're up first. Are you ready?
I am.
The biggest issue I have with your blade is its weight. But for this test, it's a strong blade. It held up, so good job.
Thank you.
All right, Boyd, you ready?
I don't know.
Your blade's still sharp. It still has a perfect edge. Didn't take any damage that way. But we did pick up a bit of a warp towards the tip. I mean, it's definitely an issue. It's not so far out that it wouldn't cut. Everything else is still tight and together. Good job.
Yes, sir. All right, Bladesmiths, now it's time to find out if there's any edge left in your weapon. This is the sharpness test, the Christmas tree trim. To find out how sharp your edges are, I will trim this tree in the Mercaida family Christmas tree tradition. Jamie, you're up first. Are you ready for this?
Trim away.
It is a little bit on the obtuse side, and it's still heavy. But on every stroke, I'm able to trim this tree. Overall, sir, it will cut.
Thank you.
All right, Boyd, it's your turn. Are you ready to do some Christmas tree trimming?
You bet.
Your edge is sharp, and the weight that you have for this, I didn't have to reset for every cut that I did. I just go up, and cut. Overall, sir, it'll cut. Thanks.
All right, gentlemen, the judges and I have had a quick conference, and they've made their final determination about which of you is the Forged and Fire champion and who has to leave the forge. The bladesmith leaving the forge is Jamie. Now, unfortunately, Jamie, your blade did not make the cut. That's because it's very heavy and unwieldy, and for that reason, I have to ask you to please leave the forge. Boyd, congratulations. You are the Forged and Fire champion, and that is a title that comes with a check for $10,000. Merry Christmas, my friend. You got anything to say to the world?
Merry Christmas.
All right, my friend, come on over and shake our hand.
I'm really happy the way that the sword turned out. I was a little nervous when I saw it take that bend, but I couldn't ask for a better performance out of it. $10,000 is a great Christmas gift to me. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. My son will be off the walls probably for the next month and a half.